Hi everyone, welcome to this training video. My name is Layla Barnett. I am your compliance officer and trainer this evening. We are going to be discussing the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, better known as SOX, and we will be focusing on Section 302, which plays a huge role for anyone working in a public company, such as our own Firesign Mutual. So we are going to begin by understanding the basics of this provision and going into some key definitions that will be pertinent throughout the training. So to put it simply, Section 302 of SOX requires our CEOs and CFOs or whoever holds the equivalent to personally certify that our financial reports are accurate, complete, and backed by solid internal controls. This section of the Act was specifically designed to increase transparency, trust, and accountability. And this was as a result of infamous scandals within the corporate world. This also built a culture of integrity and strong internal controls. Now, as I stated previously, we are going to go over some key definitions to keep in mind, and some have already been mentioned. So internal controls are essentially the systems and processes in place to ensure financial information and is being accurately and properly disclosed. And then second big one would be certification. So this would be a formal legal declaration by company leadership that financial disclosures are accurate and complete, made under penalty of law. So we are going to walk through what that actually means, why it matters, and how it ties into what we do here at work every day. So what does SOX require? Now, bear in mind this next slide is a little bit lengthy, but I will break it down in real terms. So under SOX Section 302, it requires, again, our top executives to personally sign off on every quarterly and annual financial report. And this isn't just a checkbox. They do have to certify that they reviewed the report. There are no material misstatements or missing info, and the financials accurately reflect our company's condition. Also, internal controls are in place, tested, and working as they should be within the company. Who must comply with this? So SOX 302 applies to all U.S. public companies listed or SEC registered. I apologize. Similar laws exist in the UK, the EU, and Canada, and as we know, we do business there. So it is something that is a company-wide compliance. So the way that this would look on the floor is, let's say an ECC specialist, a customer care specialist here at Firesign Mutual was processing a claim and followed the procedures, handled the data directly, feeds that information into the reports. If something is off at the front line, it would affect what our executives are putting their names on, and that's why these checks are so important. So Section 302 essentially depends on all of us doing our jobs with accuracy and accountability. So next we're going to discuss why this is important to us, how this could apply. So SOX Section 302 is essentially accountability and action at Firesign Mutual. It reinforces trust and credibility, reinforces our commitment to transparent, accurate reporting, earning, and keeping the trust of our policyholders. We need the next bullet point discusses audit and litigation readiness. Strong internal controls help us stay ahead of legal and regulatory issues. Say there was an audit in the future or any litigation that we needed to have a paper trail for. We need these checks to ensure everything is accurately submitted. The next one is business value. A solid compliance framework strengthens confidence among regulators, partners, and clients in every region we operate in. So it would essentially, the company's reputation relies on accurate information to avoid, again, those infamous scandals discussed earlier on. And so those ones are kind of, the eccentric values of why this is so important. But there are some legal penalties for noncompliance, such as SEC fines, sanctions, and even criminal charges for known violations that weren't taken care of. It also, again, that reputational harm, regulatory scrutiny, and increased legal or insurance costs. We are an insurance company, so, you know, the regulatory compliance is something that we have to take and put at the forefront of our everyday functions. So how do we implement this regulation into our compliance and company culture? We'll talk about the next steps. So what actions do we take? We are obligated to establish a formal policy for financial reporting and internal controls. We have to assign clear responsibility for internal controls to senior executives. So those CEOs and CFOs must know what this entails from a legal standpoint, because this is so important. We need to be consistent when evaluating and updating these controls. And we need to provide trainings like this. So this is kind of an overview to discuss what needs to be put in place moving forward. But this needs to be constantly updated to meet our regulatory needs, our policyholders' needs, which we know are ongoing changes constantly. We also need to immediately report any controls, weaknesses, or suspected fraud to our board and auditors. So if we know that something isn't necessarily being taken care of, that is not meeting the standards of SOX Section 302, we do need to report those things. So reporting requirements include, again, that annual and quarterly reporting. But bottom line, Section 302 makes financial integrity. So bottom line, Section 302 of SOX makes financial integrity a shared responsibility. It's not just on the CEOs and CFOs. We need to all, as a company, do our work diligently and ethically, so we are not only just supporting compliance, but building trust within the company as well as our policyholders. Thank you for joining me tonight. You guys have a great rest of your evening.